Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Breakaway. This is class number 8, final class. And this topic is called Sell Your Services, how to express and impress upon the client. Not to impress the client, but to impress upon the client who you are, what you can do, and what they can get from you. So, we're not coming in on the ground floor here. I expect that you must have your TTT already, so you know that when you go to a client, there are certain things they expect. However, there are some common processes that you need to know about in terms of how the client connects with the TP and how the TP connects with the trainer. Now, with the assumption that the training provider does not have their own courses, they are not an L&D training provider. They don't have in-house trainers. So they have to subcontract to another trainer. So one type of process will be the client requests a course. Hey, got communication course ah? The TP will go, got. And the TP goes, fine. So who got? Hey, anybody can do communication ah? And then they find a trainer, and then the trainer provides the outline, and then the outline travels backwards towards the client. That's number one. When the TP is a bit more inquiring, that means they are more nuanced in terms of how they work. The client will request the course. The training provider will do their due diligence. They'll ask what is it for, who are the audience, what level, what's the problem you're trying to solve. And sometimes the clients are smart enough, they kata, okay, give the TP this. They know that when you do it properly, then you should be able to get good results from the trainer. So that sometimes they give you full requirements. Okay, we've been having this problem for this level of manager. We want to, we expect this. They give you a list of expectations. The first process, sometimes when the trainer asks, what is the learning objectives? TP goes, what is that? And the TP asks the client, what are the learning objectives? My trainer asks. And the client goes, what is that? So you might find that there are clients who are not aware of L&D or L&D processes or L&D concepts. They know training. They know KPI, I run training. The second process, the TP is a bit more aware of L&D. So they know my trainer needs these things in order to be able to design an outline. So the trainer, once they get the requirements, can design or customize their outline towards that particular requirement. And the third type of process is the client request course. The TP and the trainer goes and meets the client. We find out, what's the actual issue, what do we do, what do you need, right? And then based on that, the trainer goes away, designs the outline, and then the outline travels back. Now, these are 3 standard processes. Sometimes you'll have a mix and match of these, but these are pretty much what I've experienced. So when you go for client meeting, right, you need to be aware that there are different purposes. Please ask the training provider what is the purpose of the meeting. Otherwise, you might not be prepared. Okay, you need to know what, and so you can prepare slide deck ke, is it just jumpa-jumpa ke? I've had cases where I prepared a presentation, sekali the client just ajak borak saja. Oh, okay. So ask the TP, what is the purpose of this meeting? There is a few purposes. The first one is what we call a cultural fit. The client wants to know, what's the trainer like? Apa dia punya vibe? Because sometimes they've had bad experiences with trainers. They want to know whether they can ngam with you or not. Whether, they know their company better. Will their employees be, amenable to you? Will they like you or not? So sometimes it's a very get to know you kind of meeting. Second is what we call a requirements gathering meeting. The trainer seeks to understand issues, goals, needs, and challenges of that particular situation. Okay, what is the situation? The situation that triggered the need for the training in the first place. Okay, our people are not very productive. Okay, can you define for me what does productive mean? Well, explain to me. And then they say, well, you see, they're supposed to do 8 hours work a day, but they do 10 hours of the same work, which can be done in 8 hours. I see. Okay, so can I guess that you're looking for a way to help them learn how to manage their workload better? Yeah, manage your workload better lah. And then as you listen kan, you discover that they are understaffed. So you have 2 choices. You can tell the truth and say, well, there is a possibility the understaffing is causing the workload to be high. And even if I teach them how to manage their workload, it might not work because they still have work to do. So I ask you this question, wahai training manager. If you were under the same workload with understaffing, would you be able to, even with techniques, time management techniques, effort management techniques, would you be able to manage? And if the training manager goes like, no lah, I also cannot lah. In fact, my department also, I'm the only one left here. I have to do everything. Okay. So that goes, aha. So you have to decide what you want to do, proceed, or say maybe this is not the right one for us. Another type of meeting is what we call solution pitching. So usually after you have the requirements gathering, you go away and then you design the outline. Sometimes the outline is enough. You WhatsApp the outline to the client, the training provider, TP sends to client goes, this is nice, okay, we proceed lah. Sometimes that's enough. But sometimes they want to hear it from your mouth. So another meeting where you pitch the outline, usually with a slide deck, a pitch deck. Sometimes it's a stakeholder interview. So I do that a lot in Cambodia, but somehow in Malaysia, TPs tak faham this concept. So let's just say we've designed the outline, the client says okay, or even sometimes before we design the outline, we ask the client, can I meet a sample of the people who will be coming for the course? Can we meet some of the people who you intend to send for the course? And if they say yes, they say, why? Well, I would like to hear from themselves. So I hear from you what the problem is. I want to hear from their side. What is the problem? So I can make sure that I solve both at the same time. So I meet with a sample. Ask them what's actually happening, and sometimes you get more insights. You get to understand what's happening in the company. Then I also ask to meet their line managers. So a few line managers to see, is there a break in perception? Training manager thinks they need communication skills. Line manager thinks they need to be able to, negotiate better. Employees think that the clients we have are legacy clients, and they know that they're not going to budge on the budget. So no amount of negotiation will work, right? So you get three different viewpoints. And the idea here is to be able to get as much information as possible so that you make the decision. Do we want to proceed with this? Or is there a way you can design an intervention? Whether it's a half day, 1 day, 2 days, a 90-day, 100-day program, then you will know. And of course, you have to decide with the client at what level of impact. Is it reaction? Yeah. Is it retention? Is it level 3, routine, behavior change? Or is it level 4, results? So I'm sure some of you experienced people every December will get a phone call from some random client or some random TP says, can do team building no need to talk so much lah, just have fun lah. So reaction it is. Just L1, very honest, L1. Okay, obvious, no problem. And then sometimes you get one of these. The TP also don't know what the meeting is. The client also don't know what the meeting is. You also get confused. So when you get an all-in-one, you need to guide the meeting so that because the client kadang-kadang datang kosong, the TP puts everything on you. So you need to facilitate that meeting. And that happened with one client, I will not mention. Masuk kan, they blur. They just got promoted into the role of training manager, both of them. And they have nothing. They know nuts about Kirkpatrick. They know nuts about L&D, but they wanted to meet. So rather than show slides, I use the whiteboard. I walk them through the problem. We co-created the outline together on the whiteboard. And they were still meeting another TP. They met a TP before us. They met a TP after us. Both of them presented solution. With them, I co-created the solution on the spot. And because they co-created it, they bought into it, and we got the job for the next 1 year. Haha, we just finished that. I closed up that job a week ago. So we got the job for 1 year. And you have to learn how to do this. Okay, it's not part of BreakAway, but you have to learn how to do this. Step 46, preparing your pitch deck. Yeah. If you know what, and you have some time, hopefully 1 or 2 days before you go to the client, please make sure that you prepare your pitch deck. Like I said before, if you're going to ask for a job from a company, your resume has to be designed according to the job ad. Yeah. If you're going to a client, you must design it according to the client. Don't overdo it like, oh, your client is such a fantastic, esteemed company. Tak payahlah. You just say this, okay, so based on our understanding of the company, uh, we see that your company is very people oriented. Okay. And we would like to design the program to be able to match that. So it has the DNA of your company in it. We see these core values. We don't need to mention the core values in the course, but we can design the activities and the content around those core values so that there is a consistency between the workplace and what they actually come for training. So you want to be able to have this in the back of your mind and then design intentionally. You want the job, right? So do this. And I do this with all my clients. But now, to be fair to you guys, now I have a standard pitch deck. I modify my verbalization saja. My pitch deck banyak gambar saja now. Because Nazrin sudah malas nak menulis benda. So I will without trying not to embarrass myself in front of Khairul kan, I will NLP them lah. So they look at me more and they look at the slide less. Match their profile to parts of yours, find commonalities. So the company's profile ada ISO. Okay, you are an ISO. Okay, I pun ISO juga. Their company profile is they talk about sustainability. You ada sustainability juga. Okay, match. So you want to build rapport that's strong. Make sure you know your outline backwards and forwards. Okay, you know how many modules, what are the names of those modules without needing to look at your outline. Okay, show credibility and show that you know what you're talking about because you wrote the outline. Now, as more and more trainers create outlines using AI, you will stand out because you still create outline using your brain. Okay. And then build out your pitch deck from step 19, the one you stand by for that particular outline, that course kan. Okay, just use that. Now, when you go for the meeting, you must make sure you achieve 4 milestones. The first milestone is introducing yourself, building rapport, showing that you are who you say without showing off. Demonstrate what they, sort of give an inkling lah. Tell some stories, but don't take too much time. Then when the meeting starts going in deeper, then you can investigate their objectives. What are the restraints, the constraints that they're facing, what are the challenges they're facing. And then if you have something, right, you pitch a possible solution. That means you're doing this on the spot though. In my case, I like to do it together with them. So they expect a slide. Okay, I put up a slide. But then I ask permission to use the whiteboard. So eventually they don't even look at the slides. I'll have that conversation. We worked on together. We all standing up now. Everybody starts standing up and we come to the whiteboard and I give the marker to them and then we start building it together. So essentially we build the outline together. But I also get them to follow my format. So I say, okay, we will have time for only 3 modules per day. So about 105 minutes, 9 o'clock to 10:45. So what can we fit in here? And then I can pitch this. What would you like to see in there? Blah, 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 blah. Kadang-kadang they get excited. I saw on TikTok there's very good activity. And we co-create the outline. As long as they don't feel like they're doing the bulk of the work. Then you say, okay, gentlemen, I'm going to take a photo of this. I'm going to go back and I'm going to prepare this outline. This feels very, very doable. Okay, I'll catch up with you later. And when you do that, you differentiate. We call this consultative selling now. Okay, it's not exactly, but you want to read up on consult. Can somebody please type into the chat these words? Consultative selling. Consultative selling is we co-create the solution at a high level with the client using our subject matter expertise. And then they go away with a good feeling though. Guess what? Every other training provider they meet, they will compare against you. So the same way they compare trainers to Nazrin, the professional learning facilitator, you create a different definition in their mind. So that's the third milestone. Kecil atau besar, small or big, but you hit that lah. At least there's something you can say, okay, this is what I'm looking at. Are you okay with that? Can I proceed with that? I can build that into the outline. They say, okay, then jalan. So last one is, if it happens lah, align on what's next. If it happens in that meeting, they said, okay, what days are you free? uh, they will try and hold back the enthusiasm. I cannot confirm this one jadi ke tidak, but what days are you free? That one dah tahu jadilah tu. So you open up your calendar. You have your calendar, kan? You project your calendar on the screen. They can see exactly, and they go like, "Wow, you're fully booked on May." What does it do? It brands you as well. Tapi kalau calendar you kosong kan, janganlah tunjuk semua. You just say, okay, I have these available. I can offer these dates to you. So align the plan, logistics, and design. All right. Again, if you have questions, give me a cue in the chat. Step 47 is in the meeting, you are going to meet people. Okay, you're going to meet people. And people require you to talk to them. So I need you to find a way. Go and learn how to talk to people of different types. NLP is fantastic. Go and learn NLP. There's something called Lab Profile. Very, very good for meetings if you can. Some of these can be a bit expensive. But today, let me give you a simple method. Yeah, give you a simple method. So this is Social Style, which I was certified in Accenture. And Accenture, the whole of Accenture is taught Social Style. So I had a lot of work to do. Basic idea is that clients they show 4 types of behaviors. Okay, this is not personality typing. Yeah, personality typing is very, very deep. This is surface level. They will show 4 types of behaviors. They will show either driving behavior, expressive behavior, amiable behavior, or analytical behavior. How can you tell? Driving behavior, they don't ask questions, they just give instructions. They don't ask for permission to ask a question, they ask a question. So they go, Nazrin, but how we do this? That's driving. Kalau analytical, they go, I'm not sure if this is relevant, but can I ask this question? They ask permission to ask a question. And amiable will keep quiet most of the time or go like, Cik Nazrin, I'm not sure if this, I'm sorry for asking this question. Dia minta maaf. They, before they ask the question, they apologize first. And then expressive. Okay, whatever you put on the screen. Wow, this one. Wow, coffee also can make deodorant also. I will try that on my armpits, man. And they will try and derail your conversation or your meeting. So um, whether you already have it, you do it naturally, or you need a model, go and learn, find a way to be able to deal with people and respond to them differently. So, how do we respond to them differently? We understand that they have different requirements, they have different needs. This is what they need fulfilled. So, if you're talking to an analytical client, um, listen to what they say. Jangan potong cakap dia. Don't cut across them. Let them finish, even though it's very long, let them finish what they want to say and prove that you're listening by writing down. You don't need to make eye contact, but you show to them that it's serious for you. You write stuff down. Even if you're writing down cakap ayam, just write something down lah. But be careful. They might want to see your notes. So write it down. And then when they say certain things, if you get confused, do not proceed. Do a comma and say, excuse me, you use the particular word. Can I ask what that means? Because sometimes it's an industry term or it's a company specific jargon or it's something that they use. For example, Ilya said to me a couple of days ago, ding dong. And I go, hang on. I need to stop this for a while. Ilyas, what does ding dong mean? And Ilyas is thinking like, what is wrong with Nazrin? Ding dong pun tak tahu ke? And then he explains it. And now I understand the sentence. So be very, very careful. Listen and ask for definitions or at least how they define it. And third, provide rational solutions that make sense to them intellectually. Then you have the amiable one, kan? So the amiable is more relationship oriented. They like you to be nice and kind. They like you to smile at them. They like you to pay attention to them, but not too much. So listen and use their language. They ask for permission to ask questions. You ask permission to ask your question. All right. And then when you ask questions, don't ask about performance or productivity. Ask about their people's concerns. Okay, so what are your people concerned about when they suffer from a lack of productivity? What's happening to them? What are they feeling? Okay, when you phrase it this way, that amiable client will go, this trainer really cares about people. They care about the quality of the experience, not just the upskilling. And then show reliability with them. You say, when whatever promise you make, okay, always fulfill that promise, either during the meeting or after the meeting. With driving people, they are very results oriented. So when they ask you a question, do not go, I'm not sure. Okay, let me think about that for a while. They will look at you as non-credible. So you have to cultivate a side of you that goes, yes, I'm sure. That can be done. This one we will not be able to include. Okay? And before they ask, you answer why. You tell them why. Um, with driving people, you ask for scenarios. When they say our people are terrible at their performance. All right, that's very interesting. Tell me give me one example, a daily example in their work when you can tell they're not performing well. Well, this guy, he has 7 hours a day to do the work, but I notice he's on Facebook. And okay, good. How many people do that? How many people are on Facebook all the time? A lot of them, lah. Okay, that's interesting. So what are they working on? Well, they're working on Excel spreadsheets. So does it mean that they're using company time to play Facebook? Yeah, but actually, they're on Facebook. I notice when they're waiting for something to download, or they're waiting for something to render, or when it's not like they're wasting time, but I see. So could the problem not be that they're not performing, but that the system that they're using is slowing them down? I hadn't thought of that. You've given me something to think about. This is a real life scenario, mind you, by the way. So ask for scenarios, ask for specifics, and then demonstrate credibility. This one you can show off a little bit. You can say, "This is my certificate. This is my gamba with Tun Mahathir." Okay, they will respect that. Last but not least is the expressive. This one you must learn to be able to. I call facilitators energy benders. So if you like Avatar the Airbender, facilitate discussion with this person through energy, right? When they make a joke, please laugh. Don't get offended. When they try and chew it you chew it them back. With them, you ask for collaboration. Hey, how about we do this? Use the word we, so they feel included. And the last but not least is demonstrate rapport. Okay, tell some stories about yourself. You have a cat and stuff like that, so that they see that you are willing to open up. Okay, no questions. Nampaknya everybody understands this. If there's no questions, we shall move on to the next one. Okay, so building rapport, very important, by adapting to different people, yeah? Step 48, A. Okay, so this is something I put together for myself. It's not right, it's not wrong. Maybe if I learn something later, I'll add on to it. If you teach me something later, then you add on to it. But I put together a sheet. I printed out myself on waste paper, on recycled paper. And I visit the client's website before the meeting to familiarize myself with what their mission, vision, core values, their culture is. I read up about their current market position and situation. Why? I want to go into the I want to go into the meeting well informed. I want to be able to show them that I understand them. Okay? And then when you're in there, find out what are the specific, the keyword specific. Yeah? Oh, our people need communication skills. Okay, I give you communication skills. What type of communication? Is it the ability to build rapport? Is it the ability to communicate information so that people understand? Is it the ability to persuade, inform, and convince? Is it the ability to give instructions? What is it? Which one? There are like 48 different competencies under the word communication. Apa dia? So inquire specific challenges. And then align on the scope of specific behaviors that they expect to be changed. Tell me, okay, if you don't want to run the meeting too technical, kan? What Rizal, my teacher, teaches me is he says, pointed question. What are the 3 behaviors you want to see changed after the course? They say, bam, bam, bam. Okay, done. I'll focus on that. Habis itu. Because sometimes the client pun not too well informed on L&D. Step 48B. Okay, this is actually the same sheet, but double-sided. Inquire their needs and constraints. And for this one, I use a model called Optics from my teacher, Ganesh Dalvi. During the pandemic, he helped me to develop the virtual learn class certification to become even better. I've invited all my VLC facilitators. We went to learn from him together. And he gave us Optic, OPTIC. I added on S at the end. So in the website, don't worry, there's a full explanation about optics in there. And I've given you this sheet if you want to use to modify as well. So step one, identify what are the learning objectives to be achieved. Okay, if you want to go further in terms of learning outcomes after the course, what they want to change, itu is up to you. Itu boleh jadi program yang lama. But immediately after this course, what are the learning objectives they expect to have been achieved? P stands for people. Demographics and psychographics of the cohort. So, what are the demographics? What level are they? What age? What background? Where they come from? Apa semua? Some of this information is useful. Psychographics talks about what they believe, what are their attitudes, what are what is the culture like? So, for example, if there is high resistance, I'll give you one example. Last year. Okay, last year, we were asked by a client to run a change management course. And the change management, oh no, let's do the first one. A mentoring course. Okay, a mentoring course. And the email sent out by the by the HR to the candidates was sent 1 week beforehand. And it said, please come for this mentoring course. That's it. No outline attached, no information, no introduction, nothing. They did not know what they were attending. But because of KPI, they have to come. And everybody came in muka macam nak bakar rumah. Muka macam nak bunuh orang. And I go, something has happened. What the heck happened? So if they had told me this upfront, we would have been able to manage it better. But Alhamdulillah, I managed it. Okay, we managed to make them fall in love with the course with me, and we switched it up very quickly. The same client, my God, the same client, they brought in and please don't be ageist. Okay, it has nothing to do with age, but they brought in a very experienced and also very elderly trainer to teach change management. But he came in and did lecture style, chalk and talk, and everyone gave very terrible feedback. Then they say, "Hey Nazrin, you did such a good course of good effort with the mentoring course, kan? Can you do?" They came for a change management course, but the participants said it's very bad, it's terrible. Can you run another change management course that's better? And I go, wait, they've been for the change management course. You want me to run another one? They say, yeah. So we ding donged, and I decided we're not going to give them a new course. We're going to revisit the concepts, but this time we run it as a workshop. So we will workshop them. They will self-learn. They will apply on a real case study during the 2 days. So we did change management. On the day itself, datang kan, muka macam nak bunuh saya. Because again, they got a similar email 3 days before. 3 hari, eh? And in the class, they felt safe enough to tell me, Nazrin, thank God we like this course. But I'm telling you, I wouldn't have come because blah 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 blah, and everybody open like, okay, HR tak ada dekat dalam situ masa tu. So then we got to know everything. So be aware that you could be left holding the bag. Okay, you could be left holding the bomb in musical chairs. The real culprit doesn't get blamed. You are yang kena. All right. So questions before I share with you some stories of my meetings. I don't see any cues in the chat, so we are going to proceed. Now I'm going to share with you some examples of my favorite meetings. IJN, let me set the tone for it. We were supposed to meet the client at 4:30. Yeah, IJN. So my TP and I, this is IK. It was IK lah. It was Asia I Knowledge, and I can't remember the name of the sales manager now, but she sat with me outside there from 4:30 until 6 p.m. because there was a training provider in there before us. that was taking his sweet time talking, talking, and they would. So I said to her, I, it's 6 o'clock. I think I'm gonna go. And she said, please, Nazrin, please, just a little bit more lah. Okay, we really need this. And I go, okay, I do it for you. I'm doing it for you. Okay. Then the training provider came out, or the trainer, or whatever, and this guy had his face was betul-betul pun muka tak redha, the training provider, and he was wearing a suit and tie. And my head goes, okay, Ngam, I'm gonna get this. You know why? Because all training providers and all trainers wear suit and tie. Fantastic. I walk in. Sama, muka makan orang. There were 5 people who at 6 o'clock wanted to go home but cannot because got one more training provider. I come in and all of them muka memang ya Allah, muka tak ada rezeki lah. So the first thing I said to them is, "Hello everyone, my name is Nazrin. It is 6 o'clock, and I sense that everyone wants to go home. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to pitch my solution. I'm going to run a mini workshop. And that mini workshop is going to last 10 minutes, and then you decide. How would you like that?" You should have seen their faces. They're like, okay. So anybody who's been to my courses before will know I start with an energizer, right? I say, on your left hand, show me your palms. On your left hand, give me a 2. On your right hand, give me a 4. When I say switch, change this 2 into a 4, this 4 into a 2. If you're ready, follow me. Ready? And they became my participants. Now, I need you to understand something about a locus of power, right? When you can get the client to follow your instructions, you are automatically seen as their superior. Okay? Think about it, right? When I meet a client and they don't understand the definition of PLF, who is in superior mode now? They're looking to me for definition. So I give them definition. So I'm in control of the meeting. In this case, they were in control sebab muka batu kan. Then I got control back. I asked for permission, let's run a workshop. Without them realizing, they will have to be participants. And when they become participants, I now have influence over them. So they did the Energizer, and the Energizer was embarrassing for them, and and they started laughing and things like that. And I go, okay, so welcome to the course, and the course is called Prep: Presenting Responsibly, Effectively, and Professionally. So the first thing I would like for you to do is answer this question. We actually did a mini workshop for 10 minutes. I demonstrated the course that they were asking for, which was presentation skills. Now, why they needed it, I discovered as I went along. We spent an hour. They did not want to go home until 7 o'clock because they were enjoying themselves. And I discovered that the root cause, they wanted their nurses to learn presentation skills because they don't know how to present to the surgeons. Whenever they need to buy new or recommend new materials or equipment to be bought, the surgeon will always push back. Tak payah, benda tu elok lagi. And then the nurses just keep quiet. Okay, tak apalah. But then, there are stuff that goes wrong. The process goes wrong because the surgeons push back too hard. So presentation skills is what they ask for. But I say, okay, so now I understand this. I'm gonna redesign this prep course so that the nurses will learn how to get buy-in very fast from a surgeon by adapting to their social style and saying the right words and showing the right pictures. Okay, and I kept in touch with the training manager. She became my friend, and she said the nurses managed to get everything they asked for. I'll give you one example. There's such a thing called a washing machine for scalpels. Scalpel is the blade that they use to cut people open with it. After it's used, it has to go into the washing machine to be washed. But a lot of the washing machines are damaged, or not useful, or they don't clean well enough. So the nurses have to ask the surgeons buy new ones lah. And the surgeons always say, tak payah, benda tu elok lagi, without realizing that there's more of them that are not working than there are. So the nurses tak sempat explain the numbers pun, dah kena shut off. Tapi doktor, apa tapi, pergi buat kerja. So we walked them through that. We did a lot of role plays, and they got their confidence to be able to stand up to a driving surgeon. And then the feedback from training manager afterwards. So we got level 4. We got level 4 results from a 2-day workshop, alhamdulillah. The surgeons, they need to learn manners. Yeah, I don't want them to come to my course. Biarlah dia. EPF. So EPF asked me for a pitching course, how to pitch. And they said, can you do it in 2 hours? I'm like, So again, I did with them. I say, okay, rather than I show you what my course is about, how about we do this right now? Okay, I'll do this a mini workshop with you for 10 minutes. And they were like, oh, that's interesting. You know why it's interesting? Because other trainers did not do it in the meetings. I was the only one to do it. So I got that. I got IGN, 2 rounds of IGN for prep, and then EPF I got one for 2 hours, and then they came back to me again for another two-day full course because I've demonstrated value. Toyota, this one, my God, this one is my favorite. This was Toyota in Bukit Raja. It's called ASSB, Assembly Services Sendirian Berhad, right? And I went there with IK as well. And we got to meet the MD. I can't remember his name though. We got to meet the MD. If you can imagine this very, very stern looking guy with a full beard, he's a bit broad shoulders. And I had to present to him from along a meeting table. If you can imagine it, the meeting table yang panjang tu kan, he's sitting at one end. He insists we sit at the other end. We go, what? It reminds me of Beauty and the Beast when they sat at opposite ends of the table having dinner. And I'm like, okay, how do I do this? Is there a projector? He says, no projector. So I prepared a slide deck, but no projector. Macam mana nak buat ni? So I saw a whiteboard, I saw markers. I said, can I use the whiteboard? And he says, okay, can. So for those of you who know my courses, you know I run uh, three modules per day, which means in a 2-day course, I have 6 modules. So the balance time after the break too is done for recap, is done for role plays, is done for other things lah. I go, okay. I took his markers, I took his whiteboard, and I wrote down the titles of all 6 modules, and I explained those modules. And then I groaned though. He stood up and he started walking towards me, and he grabbed the marker out of my hand. To be fair, it was his marker lah, betul, his company, his meeting room, his marker lah kan. But he grabbed the marker out of my hand and he started writing he wrote next to my module titles stuff that he learned in presentation skills. This one, dia belajar overseas lah, international certification apa. He wrote down next to it, he did some matching lah. Dia kata, And I was so pissed. I'm like, this client nak tunjuk power ke? Not sure that you're better than me, you're smarter than me ke? Oh, Nazri punya ego meletup pada masa tu kan. Luckily, I kept quiet. Because the next thing he said is, he looked at the whiteboard, he looked at what he wrote, he looked at what I wrote, and he said, okay, complete. You have what I need. Come, let me show you a training room. And I'm standing there, kejap. Dah close deal kan? So he walks me to the training room. The sales manager from IK starts to get up to go. He said to her, "You sit down. You stay here. I'll take him to the training room." She had to sit down and stay there. He walked me to the training room, and he says, "Is this okay for you, or you want something bigger?" The training room was cantik. It was perfect. It was perfect. And he says, "Okay, you give me your dates. We will run. We need 3 cohorts." What? So I had to ask him, "Tuan, kita jadi ke ni?" Yelah. You can run or not? Can. We're done. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Okay. I'm going back to office now. So he left me in the training room. I had to walk back to the meeting room, pick up my training provider, and then she's like, "What happened? We got the job." Huh? So yeah, I guess you have to follow up lah. So I've had a lot of meetings, but these 3 are my favorites lah. Fun lah. So I would say that, guys, why meetings? Because the training provider sometimes cannot sell you because you are the product. So my recommendation, right? Recommendation, if you can, if you have the energy, you have the power, you have the ability, go for these meetings. End up, you will brand yourself in their brains, you burn yourself in their brains, then inshallah you will get follow-up trainings. But you need to brand yourself everywhere, including in the meeting rooms. Okay. Questions? Please ask me now.
Normally meetings are so dead formal lah. They, all these big chaps in the company sitting there, so looking so sternly. How do you break that? Like, if I were to let's say adopt your approach tadi kan?
Yep.
Instead of just talking, kita buat demo, kita buat short a taste of what we do in the class. So,
Ask for
macam mana?
permission. Ask for permission.
Ah,
Look at the word you use. Normally, biasanya. So, what did we say? Breakaway, stand out, differentiate, do something different. You can open up your laptop and show, okay, let me show you what the output of this course is, kan? Look at this game. This is a fully functioning game, and I created it on ChatGPT without using any coding whatsoever. I could speak into it, it created this game. You start with bam, macam tu. And Kelvin, Kelvin can do that. Because he can do that. He can create a game using ChatGPT that you can use in class, and it's self-sustaining though. That game doesn't have to live online. It can live in anybody's laptop without an internet connection. It's amazing. And what he did, he's so good, Calvin, our friend again, that last Saturday we sat down, he opened his laptop, and within 10 minutes I knew how to do it. That's how fast he can teach people to do this. So if he does it, good client, okay, let's build a game together right now. Here's my laptop, here's your projector. You tell me what game you want. Okay, I want this. You speak into the microphone. And then the client builds the game on the spot. That is very powerful.
yeah, okay.
Okay, now the energy I'm using with you in this classroom, right, is to keep you awake and energized and engaged. Match their energy. Kalau dia analytical, you jangan buat ekspresif pula. Okay, match the energy lah. Okay, you find that part of yourself that slow down lah. So with IGN, I forgot to tell you that there were 5 people, 2 analyticals, 1 amiable, 1 driving, 1 expressive. Ha. So macam mana? The analytical will go, Cik Nazin, saya nak tanya, macam mana dengan harga, the sales manager sitting next to me kan, macam mana dengan harga yang ditetapkan ni, adakah dia tak habis ayat dia, the expressive, what's the word, the expressive person in the room, Cik Nazin, jangan ambil hati sangat, dia tu finance, dia memang kena, itu memang kerja tanya soalan tu. So whenever they ask me a question, I would respond to them using their social style, using their bahasa. And it was challenging to switch up 4 times between five different people. Okay, so thank you for the question.
What?
Thank you for yes, please.
One more cue. In the panel, sometimes there's one guy or lady who just sit there quietly and say nothing. That how to judge dia punya style tu? Dia facial expression pun dia macam so dry, and what kind of character is that? So they observe saja.
Everything you do in the classroom is what you do in the meeting as well. You observe, you facilitate, see if certain words you say raises an eyebrow. Literally, dia punya kening naik kan? And then you use that in the next few sentences to see what happens. That means they're interested in that aspect of the course. Usually I will, if I have the energy, I will observe everyone lah. But if not, I leave them be. I leave them be. Sometimes they are soalan. The ones who engage me, I engage them. Okay. Once in a while, I will look over. I speak. I look over to that person. Okay, and I see. I will try and pace and lead. I tengok apa jadi. Once I get her attention or his attention, okay, then I pull her into the conversation. But in most cases, I leave them be. In the beginning, I leave them be. I focus. I let other people, give the energy. Does that answer your question?
Thank you.
Yes.
Great. Super.
Pendek kata, anything you do with your participants in the classroom, you observe everybody's face kan? You read everybody's minds kan? So you do the same in the meeting juga.
So, great.
Alright. You MBTI kan dia lah. You tengok, ni aku tahu ni. Alright. Step 49. We are almost at the end, guys. Step 49, pitch your services and align. Now, this is quite critical, I would say. If I were to redesign Breakaway, I would put this a little bit earlier. But you, as a trainer, need to have a framework that ties all of your offerings together. Okay? And if you remember I can't remember what class it was so long ago, earlier this week, I said that I received feedback that, Nazrin does everything, which means that I'm a jack of all trades, I'm not expert in anything. So I decided to rebrand myself. Actually, it wasn't a rebrand, just show what the reality is. I can run problem solving courses, I can run communication courses. No. They are all based on the same methodology, the same thing. It's just that when applied in application, it becomes a problem-solving course. When applied in application, it becomes a interpersonal communication course. The same way tahu mahu kata dan laku, when applied to brand yourself as a trainer, it becomes breakaway. So I decided, okay, when I go to clients and I say the word soft skills, they don't like it because they're like, oh, soft skills. So I decided to rebrand and I call all of my workshops, I call them professional work skills. Because soft skills tak ada definition. Go and search, tak ada definition. Nobody agrees on soft skills. But professional work skills, I control the definition. So when I walk into the client, I explain that fundamentally there are 4 levels of competency in professional work skills. There is thinking, there's performing, there's connecting, and the highest level there is leading. So if a leader does not have proper thinking skills, then the problem is that they're not going to be able to make good decisions. For example, I've met leaders who say, I suspect my people are out to sabotage me. And I ask, how do you know? I can feel it lah. I know lah. So the problem there is they don't have critical thinking. They don't know how to data gather. They don't know how to validate. They don't know how to assess. I've also met leaders who can talk a good game, but cannot do work. Dia punya time management out, dia punya habits out, dia punya semua out. So they're suffering a deficiency at the performing level. I've also met trainers leaders who tell me, I don't know how to talk to my people. And how the heck did you become a leader if you know how to talk to your people? That you don't know how to connect, how to engage with people. So when I talk to clients like this, they go, yeah, it makes sense, lah. And you can deliver all of these, huh? Yeah, I can. But if you want to run a full, like a learning journey program, I insist we start with topics from the thinking skills collection first before we move on. So then it becomes like a menu when we build the learning journey together. Okay, client says, okay, based on the TNA, I think they need something from thinking skills. Yeah, okay. So is it emotional? Is it logical? Which one? I think more emotional. Okay, there's a course called Dream, which is developing resilience, emotional assertiveness, and motivation. What do you think? Here's the course outline. Yeah. Okay, this is good. This is good. Okay, they're quite logical people. They're engineer style, so their logical thinking, critical thinking is quite good. But this I think they need emotional. Yes. Good. But also they need creativity lah. You got creativity, Ada? So we choose one from everyone, or we choose three, one of each, and then we build the learning journey within that sequence. Now, this is how I go to clients, and it makes sense. Remember, I said yesterday I got an accidental client. So she called me, and rupa-rupanya she already stalked me. I was about to introduce thinking, performing, engaging, and leading. She preempted. Yeah, I went through that already. It makes sense, lah. So when you make life easy for your clients, they tend to like you more. All right. So this is something you have to work out, yeah? If I were to give you an analogy, if you don't understand this, right? Have you heard of lead self, lead team, lead others? Yeah. Have you heard of that one? So I say that's good. It's good to lead yourself. But before you learn to lead yourself, you need to learn how to communicate with yourself first. So thinking is interpersonal communication, performing is intrapersonal communication. How are you going to lead yourself if you cannot communicate with yourself? And then clients go, yeah lah. Wow, this is better. So I accidentally destroy somebody else's branding by inputting my branding into the client. All right. Questions before we go to the last step? Please ask me now. You got to build this, guys. You have to find a way to build your own framework. And it looks curated. It looks designed. Okay, no one speaking. So let's go to the last step, which is close the deal and deliver. So after the meeting, you wait for the client or the TP's response. Sometimes what you can do is you can send an email to the TP and say, thank you very much for bringing me along today. I learned a lot. I pray that we get the job. Tell me what I need to do if you need any more additional information or some way that we can convince the client we are the right person, right company to go for. And then you can keep following up respectfully. And then you can inquire final logistics, dekat mana. And please, when dekat mana, ask for a Google Map link. don't just accept an address, because the address might be typo lah apa semua. Ask for a Google Map or Waze Map link. Because I sudah pernah kena a couple of times already. In fact, yesterday one trainer called me crying because miscommunication from the TP to the trainer. She showed up 25 kilometers away at the wrong address. It wasn't her fault. The TP salah nampak. And of course, last is begin final preparations for, your, kalau dah dapat lah, finalize your slide deck, get the workbooks printed, curate your props, and then practice, especially if it's a new course that you've designed. Practice on your own. And of course, after the course, submit your invoice the day after with an appreciative email. I always send appreciative emails. Thank you for the opportunity to work with your clients. You send to the TP, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to work with your clients. Not my client, not the client, your clients. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that takes us to the end of day 4 and the end of Breakaway and the last assignment, which is to build out your pitch deck for just build a full pitch deck for a generic client, and then video record a non-interactive 10-minute pitch to a fictional client. Watch it, get others to watch it, get others to read your pitch deck, get feedback, and then improve. So it's been a long 4 days. I didn't realize it was just a week, but I've enjoyed myself. I hope you've enjoyed yourself as well. For those who are watching this recording, I hope you have gained something. And it is now time for you to break away. And the last question I want you to ask yourself is, as you've come up to the end of these 8 hours, have you been able to maintain your branding consistently across everything you have done since class 1 up until class 8? And if the answer is yes, then you are on your way. So this is my last word. That I pray for you. I pray that you get what you want. It's a brutal industry, and more trainers are entering this industry. It used to be 40,000 trainers, most of them non-practicing, and now we're coming back to that number again, and a lot of them are practicing, which means that there will be more and more people in the market. The only way is for you to stand out. The only way is for you to break away from the crowd. So that being said, I wish you all the best, guys. I will make dua for you. Inshallah, one of these days we will get to meet and you will tell me your success stories. But for now, thank you very much. Thank you for attending Breakaway. I wish you all the best. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye-bye, everyone. Have a fantastic day.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thanks so
Waalaikumsalam.
much, Nazrin.
Thank you,
so much.
Nazrin.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Bye-bye.